Brittney Griner was entering. Reiner was recently seen Angel re-entering Ease enter the Atlanta Dreams. Griner packed her luggage and departed a few days later. Not to a playoff team or a contender, but to one of the weakest teams in the league, the Connecticut Sun. Take a moment to consider that. A Hall of Fame caliber center would rather play for the WNBA's poorest team than share a locker room. According to reports, Greer had entering. A few harsh comments for Ree that no one in the league is likely to forget very soon. You can learn all you need to know about the interior of Reese's locker rooms from the explanation she provided for her departure. A far cry from the locker room of the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. This story gets crazy quickly, so stay with me. Do you believe Angel Ree will be fired by the Atlanta Dream this season? Tell me in the comments section below. How can a player make her teammates publicly rejoice on the day she has moved away? Because that is precisely what occurred when Angel Reese was eventually transferred from the Chicago Sky to the Atlanta Dream. Furthermore, the response from within the locker room was anything but subtle. Let's discuss how all of this began, because the Sky truly thought they were getting something exceptional when Ree arrived in Chicago. She arrived from LSU with a lot of buzz. Additionally, it was thought that her rebounding would provide the squad with a physical base upon which to rebuild. In both her rookie and sophomore seasons, she scored enough points to fill the stat sheet and receive an all-star selection. And that appears to be a franchise cornerstone on paper. It was an entirely different story on paper. In one season, Chicago had 13 wins and 34 defeats. The following season, they had 10 wins and 34 losses. The squad didn't simply miss the playoffs then. Every year, they became worse and worse. The focal point of the team was Ree. 2 seasons, 2 poor results, a total of 23 victories and 61 defeats, and a significant portion of those rebounds were the subject of constant discussion. Many of them were a direct result of her own missed shots. For a player of her caliber, Reese missed layups at a rate that is truly difficult to comprehend. Thus, while the shooting efficiency revealed an entirely different picture, the rebound totals appeared to be dominating. If you are the reason the ball is coming off the rim in the first place, you cannot rebound your way to victory. However, what was going on inside the facility was far more important than the loss. Reese's relationship with his teammates quickly deteriorated. Club, Aeon and Heon and Heonon and Hen-He Club did not remain silent. Ree publicly referred to veteran Courtney Vanderloot as old and washed up after she was injured. No matter how many boards you are collecting, a professional locker room does not simply move over this. Vanderloot had spent years in this league. She gained her admiration the difficult way, and Ree made that statement in public. That kind of thing is remembered by players. During practice, Reese's front court partner, Camila Cardardoso, abandoned her. When your own running partner is unable to complete a session without quitting, it reveals something genuine about the daily environment at that club. In post-game interviews, Ree also had a tendency to shifting the blame to teammates in ways that players saw and remembered. It grew so bad that the Sky suspended her for actions that were harmful, and held to the club, which is one of the most drastic things a club can do. It's a big step to suspend your own star. People in the group did not hold back once she left. Yahoo was informed by a source club, source.club source. Sports makes it clear that no love is lost and that everyone with the Sky is overjoyed to have her gone. Another source stated it even more bluntly, stating that the move was crucial for the organization's future success and that teammates were becoming weary of her. That isn't a single player screaming their frustrations. A verdict is being delivered in a locker room. Thus, the Sky did not move Reese because they found a better match elsewhere or because the roster needs to be reorganized. The front management determined it was time to trade her because 2 years in a row of public teammate abuse, a suspension, and a practice walkout had made the atmosphere intolerable. The production was no longer worth the harm. Atlanta has already given her 2 first-round picks to create it occurs. And as soon as the deal was finalized, one particular veteran on that roster began formulating other plans. A second-round trade and 2 first-round selections. Atlanta spent that amount for a player whose former team had suspended her and then hailed her departure. Take a moment to consider that. You have to imagine what the dream might be like in order to comprehend why that price feels so strange. truly appeared to be heading into this. Atlanta's franchise record of 30-14 at the end of the 2025 regular season qualified them for a top four-source berth. Additionally, Ryan Howard, Bronna Jones, Alicia Gray, and Brittney Griner, for Brittney Griner, and poured the front court. This team wasn't keen to get a name. They were actually engaged in the discussion, genuinely contending and centered around a core that already collaborated. After that, the playoffs took place. Without Caitlin Clark, the same 30-14 squad entered a first-round series against the Indiana Fever and was Brittney Griner eliminated. The part that hurts is that the Fever were not at their best going into that series, lacking important players. A first-round loss to a crippled team marked the conclusion of a franchise regular season adversary. And after analyzing that outcome, the Dream's front office determined that Angel Reese was the solution rather than posing challenging queries regarding execution and competitive mindset. That is a particular type of reasoning. You have to witness Chicago regress for 2 years in a row, with Reese as the focal point, before you can infer that the city was the only issue. It necessitates a player who averages a lot of rebounds on her own missed shots is what a team that lost due to poor execution was lacking. It also means you have to overlook a suspension on several public altercations with teammates and a locker room that apparently let out a sigh as soon as she departed. In reality, Atlanta is effectively trotting back the same lineup that was defeated by a team with a shorthanded Fever, replacing Griner with Reese and claiming that this is an improvement. Dream admirers on social media has reacted to this in a variety of ways, from perplexed to outright furious. The most frequent grievance is, predictably, that the team replaced a seasoned veteran with a player whose teams continued to lose, while her rebound totals continued to rise. Griner averaged 9 in 2025 while playing for Atlanta. 5 and 8 points, 2 rebounds, frequently as Coach Carl comes off the bench. She didn't particularly like Smemesco's system. It's not as though she record and playing and dropping 20 and 10 every night. However, she has won 2 WNBA titles. When an athlete enters a locker room, her career resume immediately gains her respect. Furthermore, a box score does not reflect that kind of presence. Ring-wielding veterans alter how a team practices, manages pressure, and teaches younger members what it takes to truly succeed. Counting statistics is not a substitute for that. The 2 first-round picks Atlanta gave up could have been used to improve the squad around their current core, add depth, or find a player who would help them defeat Indiana in a playoff series. Rather, those options are no longer available. Additionally, Atlanta acquired a player whose prior team's record was 13-34. Ine then 10-34 throughout the course of 2 seasons, centered on getting her to work. Regardless of how this trade is executed, the Mauer playing Anworth is Griner Pla playing Andine and difficult. Future assets are gone. A seasoned anchor has left, and a working locker room is now connected to a player who has a track record of blowing up locker rooms. Furthermore, neither a podcast expert nor a fan on Twitter was the first to react to that move. It was Brittney Griner playing and Griner herself, and she expressed her emotions without the necessity for a news conference. Griner was still under contract with Atlanta at the time of the re-deal, still in good health, and still a guy that any team hoping to make the playoffs would want to have. Her hand was not coerced. It was entirely up to her what she did next. She also referred to Angel Reese as a nasty loser, not in an ambiguous, well-crafted remark meant to preserve her reputation. Griner's response to rejoining the Dream was described as frank and harsh in reports that surfaced shortly after the deal. Griner made it apparent that she thought Reese would not alter her behavior simply because the city on her jersey changed. The chaos that accompanied Reese throughout his 2 seasons in Chicago was not going to remain there. Griner reportedly considered the circumstance and concluded she had seen "I've already read enough of this tale to know how it concludes." Griner signed with the Connecticut Sun 5 days after Atlanta revealed the re-trade. None of the teams near the top of the league had genuine championship windows open at the moment, not including the Minnesota Lynx and the Las Vegas Aces. Griner selected the Connecticut Sun, who match High League's worst record. The Sun is your choice. As so, you must travel as far away from Atlanta as possible. Imagine this. A player with 2 championship rings and a Hall of Fame career who returned to professional basketball after everything that had happened to her, concluded that the Atlanta Dream locker room was the more difficult setting. Not a difficult schedule, not a rematch with a team who defeated them in the playoffs, not new coaching method to become familiar with. Angel Ree in the same structure. Griner did not wish to be involved in that. Griner had been listening. Courtney Vanderloot was publicly referred to by Ree as old and washed up. Ree shifted the blame to teammates throughout 2 years of post-game interviews. And her own franchise suspended her. Camila Cardardoso left the practice. The dressing room was characterized as truly awful by sources in Chicago. In a league this tiny, where everyone is acquainted, none of that goes unnoticed. Veterans converse. Griner was fully aware of the everyday landscape of Chicago. Additionally, when that setting declared it was moving to Atlanta, Griner moved first. In the WNBA, the conflict between veterans and newcomers is nothing new. Veterans are sometimes irritated by rookies because of their stellar reputations. Typically, that conflict remains behind closed doors and is resolved over the course of a season or 2. However, Griner did not publicly express his desire for a fresh challenge or subtly request a trade. Within 5 days of Reese's arrival, she joined with a bottom-tier squad. She then let the time frame speak sack for itself. It's not subtle at all. That is a seasoned professional with 2 rings expressing her opinions clearly without the use of a microphone. Reese's public persona is based on the notion that she doesn't care what people think of her, that criticism doesn't bother her, and that she is too self-assured. Post all of the you may post whatever content you want on social media, but it doesn't change the fact that a Hall of Fame player selected the worst club in the league over a roster that was constructed around you. You can't ignore that story. That is a tangible decision made by a real person with actual options who determined that your locker room wasn't worth it. 5 days after the deal, Atlanta lost its experienced anchor and forfeited 2 first-round picks before the season had even begun. Now, for 2 years, every discussion regarding the identical line appeared in some form in the Chicago sky. No one is interested in playing there. There were no calls from free agents. Veterans showed little interest. And the team appeared to be a destination rather than a choice for the players. After the re-exchange, that story fell apart so quickly that it's nearly impossible to follow. Let's discuss what Chicago truly did after Ree left, because the front desk worked quickly. Skylar Diggins-Smith was given a 2-year contract. Additionally, if you are familiar with Diggins-Smith, you are aware that she doesn't go somewhere to lose in silence. One of the league's most competitive point guards, a 7-time All-Star, is renowned for fostering a practice culture that demands accountability. After 2 years of Reese's drama, and bringing her in sends a very clear message about the path this franchise wishes to go. Additionally, they signed Azora Stevens, a floor big who stretchingly opens driving lanes and spaces the floor, to a 3-year contract worth an estimated $1 million per season. Then they acquired a 6'2" forward who averaged 14 points by trading for Ricky Jackson from the Los Angeles Sparks, forfeiting Ariel Atkins and a 2028 first-round pick. She can make her own shots and scored 7 points the previous season. According to CBS Sports, that gives Chicago an A-. An A-, not a strong, no strong, nor stretching, strong, nor a good trade. Each and every one of these players was selected as an all-star, received all defensive honors, or was chosen Duth strong, nor toe stretching Toyos, who settled their contributions to a winning culture. Within weeks of Reese's departure, they all made commitments to Chicago. Everyone who watches the league is aware that this is not a coincidence. However, that's not all of them. Courtney Vanderloot, the veteran that Ree publicly referred to as old and washed up following Vanderloot's injury, was also led to taught that the strong nor go by who's the they. She was brought back by Chicago. The veteran was examined by the team. Ree decided she still belonged there and attempted to bury herself with a post-game quote. Although that maneuver was silent, it made it quite evident who's of the front office had faith in the sky. Are you prepared for the point where Reese supporters go crazy? Ricky A. and Jackson was given Reese's number 5 jersey by the Sky. And it happened quickly without any ceremony, retirement talk, or recognition that the number had any noteworthy past. Jackson wore number 5 throughout college and high school, so the Sky just gave it to her and continued. For a player who won a title with the team or spent 10 years creating something genuine there, Reese supporters filled Chicago's social media with demands that the number be retired. However, after 2 losing seasons, Reese was suspended and traded. Players apparently couldn't wait to get out of the locker room, and retiring that number would mean retiring a combined record of 23 and 61. The jersey scenario nearly sums up Chicago's decisions during those 2 years. Just a new player wearing the number as if the preceding chapter had already ended. On with no pause or tribute, because it did, in terms of the front office. The irony was noted by fans on the internet. As soon as Angel Reese left, Chicago began doing exactly what she had pleaded with them to do. Prior to the transaction, Reese openly urged the team to get better players to around her. Better players were brought in by the Sky, but only after her departure. When Reese was in charge of the locker room, Skylar Diggins-Smith did not sign this. Rakia Jackson did not arrive at that time. In a situation like that, Stevens didn't commit to a team. Players were waiting while observing Chicago from a distance, and the moment that they picked up the phone as the locker room changed. After Atlanta's first-round playoff exit, the front office concluded that rebounding was the issue. The transaction was justified by the claim that Reese's interior presence would help a team that had already finished 30 and 14 advance past the first round. You would need to think that rebounding was the particular factor impeding the dream in order for that argument to stand. Almost everything that actually occurred in the playoff series is ignored by that viewpoint. Think about what Atlanta had before Griner the transaction. Alicia Gray was a scoring wing with dribble creation skills. One of the league's top two-way guards was Ryan Howard. Their roster was truly deep. Additionally, Brittney Griner was a seasoned anchor with championship experience who understood how to handle pressure during the playoffs. That team did not lose because they were unable to bounce back. Despite having a strong front court, the team was eliminated in the first round by an Indiana Fever team that wasn't even entirely healthy before the series. Despite being short-staffed and missing key players, including Caitlin herself, Caitlin Clark and the Fever managed to send Atlanta home. That indicates a problem with execution and a competitive mindset, not something you simply by adding a board-grabbing person. With retaking Griner's place, Atlanta's roster that lost to a shorthanded sick club is now practically the same. Furthermore, it is really painful to look at the honest form of that switch. Griner took home 2 titles. Reese has never participated in a postseason match. Although Griner's numbers with Atlanta in 2025 were lower, she provided the kind of title and locker room reputation, experience from which younger players might truly gain knowledge. Reese has 2 straight last-place results, a documented suspension, and a history of strained relationships with prior teammates who allegedly rejoiced when she left. On paper, Reese, Gray, and Howard might create some intriguing combinations, but front court combinations weren't Atlanta's issue versus Indiana. It was about finishing a series against a team that wasn't playing at their best. Power. Furthermore, Reese's past performance does not indicate that she improves a team's performance in that particular area. Imagine this. You import the player whose prior clubs finished 23 and 61 over the course of 2 seasons after losing a playoff series that you should have won. Atlanta took that action. Dream supporters who were already irritated by their elimination in the first round are observing all of the loudest complaints are fairly constant, and this is happening in real time. What truly broke Atlanta during the playoffs was not addressed. Before training camp had started, they drove away a Hall of Fame veteran and added a player who cost 2 first-round picks. The picks are no longer available. Griner is no longer there. Additionally, the team that defeated Atlanta is just receiving more healthful. Caitlin Clark takes a full off-season to prepare for her 3rd season. Indiana will be more difficult to defeat in 2026 than they were when they defeated Atlanta while playing shorthanded, as the Fever's injured players are returning. Griner's dread of competition kept her in Atlanta. She departed since she had spent 2 days in Chicago watching this very movie. Straight years, and she was not going to endure it once again in a city that she had recently assisted in becoming a contender. In a single off-season, Chicago completely revamped their roster. Reese is now on her 2nd team before turning 24 and has the same reputation that led to her suspension and trade in the first place. Atlanta lost a Hall of Fame player before training camp even started. Until the behavior changes, none of that does. Do you believe Angel Reese will be fired by the Atlanta Dream this season? Tell me in the comments section below. To ensure you never miss anything, like, subscribe, and enable all notifications. On the screen, click the video, and we'll see you in the following one.